right, it is 6 o'clock. Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Kurt Smith.
Here.
Gustafson.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
J.R. Smith.
Here.
Brabner. Mayor McMillan.
I am here. Our invocation and pledge will be led by Councilmember Shane Perry. If you'll please rise.
Father, thank you for the opportunity to come today and work for this city. Father, we just pray that blessings upon all our citizens and all our employees that work for the city, our police and fire that are out there every day protecting our citizens. Father, just being in the gap for them. Father, thank you for the opportunity just to serve and that we make wise decisions on behalf of the city today. In your son's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. As for the approval of minutes of the previous meeting, the work session March 7, 2022, and the regular meeting March 7, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, they stand approved as written. Committee reports, Ms. Gaines. No reports, sir. Mr. Connor.
No further reports, Mayor.
Chief Barber. Chief Few. Mr. Patterson, I want you to have a report tonight because I got something I want to say to you.
I don't have a report tonight.
Well, I will say this. We all recognize this is your last meeting with the city, and I want to publicly thank you for your service to the city. I can tell you without a doubt in my mind, you're truly respected by this council, by the citizens of our city, by all your fellow employees. I can't even begin to tell you how many came to me and said, do whatever you have to do to keep him. But and I tried, but Mr. Patterson's moving on to greener pastures, or another pasture. I wouldn't say greener. But I just want to publicly thank you for your years of service to the city. You've been a great addition. You're somebody that I personally can just reach out to, and I know it'll be handled, and that means a lot to me. So thank you, sir. Now, you sure you don't want to say it's your last chance to get back at us? All right. We'll open the floor now for public participation. If anyone would like to address the council, now is your opportunity. Under announcements, this Friday night, the 25th, the city of Spanish Fort and the Spanish Fort Public Library will host our first family movie night on the grounds here at the Spanish Fort Community Center. Come out and enjoy the, I can say this, can I? Yeah, the Lego movie. It rhymes with Eggo. Okay. And bring your chairs, picnic blankets, and snacks. The movie will be fun and free for the entire family. The movie will be on a big screen on the back lawn of the community center. There will be games for children courtesy of the Spanish Fort Public Library and the Friends of the Library, beginning at 6 p.m. and the movie will begin sometime around 7 o'clock when it gets dark. And then on Sunday, April 10th, the Mobile Pops will be performing here at the community center at 6 o'clock. We'll have an art show starting at 5 prior to the concert here at the community center. On Saturday, April the 23rd, the Baldwin County Solid Waste will offer Baldwin Clean Sweep from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the 4 Baldwin County landfill locations. This will be a free service to the Baldwin County residents. Acceptable waste includes yard waste, construction debris, tires, electronics, household hazardous waste, and more. This is something that you need to take advantage of. If you got some things you want to get rid of, now's your time to do it. A complete list of items that will be accepted can be found on the Baldwin County website at baldwincountyal.gov. There is no old business. On the new business, is always a pleasure to swear in a new officer. Judge Rose, thank you for coming tonight. I'd like you to perform the oath of office to Police Officer Jason D. Henson.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
that I will faithfully enforce the laws of the State of Alabama
that I will faithfully enforce the laws of the State of Alabama
and the ordinances of the City of Spanish Fort, Alabama,
and the ordinances of the City of Spanish Fort of Alabama,
and perform the duties of a police officer faithfully and honestly
and perform the duties of a police officer faithfully and honestly
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Henson, anything you'd like to say tonight? Welcome to Spanish Fort, first of all.
Thank you, sir. I would, staff, council members, Mr. Mayor, I do appreciate you bringing me into the family of Spanish Fort. I've had a long break in service and a lot of reflection time, and one of those things is knowing that I'm getting back into something that is a lifelong dream of mine. I look forward with the citizens that I've met so far. It is definitely strange and different. I'll be honest with you. People wave, something I'm not used to. The friendliness of the city that I've met so far, it's a Spanish Fort from what I've seen is second to none. I look very much forward to being with you for a very long time and serving you in the future.
Well, we
Thank you so much.
appreciate those words, appreciate you coming. You'd like to introduce your guests also?
And this is my wife, Caroline, and our baby is somewhere outside.
Lost your baby already. You better call the police if y'all know one. But thank you. I'd like for you to come forward, introduce yourself to the council, so when you get them, you know who they are. Okay? Thank you, sir. Chief, you want to add anything?
Why don't they want to stay? I don't understand.
I guess it's a boring meeting. All right, moving on to the rest of the agenda, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 600, 2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 543, 2019, which established tree protection and landscape standards. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, the Planning Commission held a meeting and public hearing on March 14 to consider and make a recommendation regarding a proposed change to the tree protection and landscape standards. In particular, Section 6A presently would be amended. Presently, there's a 50-foot setback from right-of-way in the corporate limits of the city of Spanish Fort as a green belt along the entire width of all properties in the city. This amendment would recognize that there has been significant widening to Highway 31 based on the construction and improvement of that roadway that has reduced the size of the remaining lots in certain locations. This would change that setback for new development on construction sites which are zoned business or commercial along Highway 31 from 50-foot to a 25-foot setback. And the Planning Commission forwards a positive recommendation for this amendment to the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? I'd like to announce that we'll have a public hearing that will be held Monday, April 18th, 2022, to hear any comments in opposition to or in favor of the proposed ordinance. I'd like to present Resolution 1213, 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Spanish Fort and the city of Daphne. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed agreement between the city of Spanish Fort and Daphne as it relates to the provision of jail services. The city of Daphne operates and owns a municipal jail facility, and the city of Spanish Fort does not own or operate and maintain a jail facility. And the city of Daphne has cooperated in good faith and worked with the city of Spanish Fort for a number of years to house adult detainee prisoners on behalf of the city of Spanish Fort. This will continue that agreement, and it is for the amount of $60 per day for the first full inmate day and $2.50 per hour for each time after that point in time. It does require that the city pay all costs associated with providing medical care or any other medical needs of their detainees, and also sets forth insurance requirements between the respective parties.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 1213-2022 with any changes that the mayor deems necessary.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Kurt Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
J.R. Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. I'd like to present Resolution 1214, 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Spanish Fort and Goodwin Mills and Kaywood LLC. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, as you know, the city engages in a review of street projects and needed maintenance and street resurfacing for all streets within the corporate limits of the city, and engages a third-party engineering firm to help rank and categorize the needs for the resurfacing needs in the city. For this year's 2022 street resurfacing projects, this is a contract with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood for them to prepare plans and specifications and be involved in construction oversight for those streets that have been selected for improvement this year. The amount of the contract is for $29,000, and the contract is attached as Exhibit A.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council?
The email that we got from Becky with the street listing, is that like last year's listing and then they'll revise that?
Yes.
Okay.
We redo it every year. Excuse me. Any further discussion? Just like Mr. Connor mentioned, this is just the contract for the engineering company to move forward. We will have a separate bid for the actual awarding to do the repaving this year, and I believe, don't hold me to this, I believe the streets we're speaking of is Raphael Sims East and West, and General Canby Loop and General Canby Drive, I believe. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve resolution 1214, 2022.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Kurt Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
J.R. Smith,
Yes.
Brabner, Mayor.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. I'd like to present Resolution 1215, 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Spanish Fort and Lexipol. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed agreement between the city of Spanish Fort and Lexipol Solutions. This is for a proposed review of all police department policies and procedures, updating, consultation. They have a full staff that deals with this around the country, and they purport to provide services based on jurisdiction-specific needs. This is for a one-year subscription that includes a one-time startup as it relates to this. The total amount for the subscription line item is $12,468.65, with a law enforcement full implementation for $20,000 for a total of $33,356.55. And this is a one-time startup. If you decide to extend that, it would only be for the roughly $12,000 annual subscription after that.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council?
I may be overlooking it, but does it give any sort of estimated time to prepare the updated policy manual, procedure manual?
You know, I don't recall a timetable on that, Chief. Do you know off the
Yeah,
top of
so
your
it's
head?
not in the contract, but we've discussed it with them, and I've actually talked to another police chief in Mobile County that recently went through, start to finish, about 6 months, roughly. And so we would be meeting with them virtually, once a week for 2 hours a week, going over the policies for that session, and then continuing on from there, so about 6 months.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I would, the way it was stated was the $12,000 was like an annual charge and the $20,000 is a one-time, is that correct? I guess my question is do we think that the policy would be reviewed and enough revisions done each year to make it $12,000 worth of review on an annual basis?
Well,
I
I'll
understand that's
speak
not
for the
what-
Chief, that we're gonna do the initial one-year program. After we get everything up to date, up to speed, we feel that we can handle that internally, where we won't have an annualized contract.
Right, that's kind of what I thought that
Is
12,
that pretty accurate?
100% correct, and again, we're using this as kind of a springboard, as part of a different process, the accreditation process that we're doing as well, so, but we were not intending to go beyond the 1 year, that after we got, the ship kind of rightened, from there, we can kind of keep it going in the direction it needs to go.
thank you.
Yes,
You just answered my question. I was about ready to ask, is this another step in that accreditation
absolutely,
process?
absolutely,
Okay.
100%.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 1215, 2022.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kurt Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
J.R. Smith.
Yes,
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. I'd like to introduce Resolution 1216, 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for professional services between the City of Spanish Fort and Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, Inc. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed agreement with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood LLC to perform services related to providing a survey and environmental phase 1 assessment for the proposed Cypress Point project purchase. As you recall, there's land on both sides of Highway 225 that will be subject to being purchased, so it's actually 2 surveys. The amount of this project contract is approximately $23,000, and a copy of the agreement is attached as Exhibit 1. This will be in conjunction with the grant funding agreement to be approved and introduced at the next meeting, as well as a contract for the purchase of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council? This item is being introduced tonight and will be on your April 4th agenda. Moving to Resolution 1217, 2022, a resolution governing outside employment for the police officers employed by the City of Spanish Fort Police Department. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, the police department presently does have policies relating to outside employment, but it's our understanding that our insurance carrier has suggested that we update those requirements in accordance with applicable law. The law does allow for officers to accept off-duty employment, and it's up to the local governmental agency as to how and to what extent they can use equipment. In that case, the city has authorized the use of uniformed officers and equipment to be used for off-duty employment. Section 2 sets up the requirements for requests that have to be in writing and authorizes the chief of police to approve or disapprove of the outside employment in writing, as well as set any conditions deemed necessary by the chief of police to that employment.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion from the council?
Are there any ranks that are not allowed to do this? I know we don't allow department heads to take second jobs. Is there, within the department?
Only one that is the chief, I think, is the only one that's excluded from this, because we do have lieutenants that do some off-duty work. Okay. Any further discussion? Here again, this is being introduced tonight and will be on your April 4th agenda. Moving to Resolution 1218, 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a master professional services agreement between Syntec Consultants, Inc. and the City of Spanish Fort. Mr. Connor?
This is a proposed agreement with Geosyntec Consultants, Inc. for wall inspections for the Spanish Fort Drive Bluff project. The contract is attached to Exhibit 1 and is in the amount of $5,000 to perform an inspection, survey, and report any necessary or needed maintenance or improvements to that project.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Discussion from the council?
Only discussion I have would be that Ms. Brabner had pointed out the date needs to be changed to reflect an annual period from the date that we approve it.
I have duly noted that, and we'll get this corrected prior to the next meeting.
How often do we need to have inspections? Is this like the first time it's come around that it had to be inspected?
Well, I think general rule of thumb, you need to do it at least biannually. And we sort of had a grace period initially to do something, and it's just time. We've had it on our budget for the last couple of years, I believe, and we just hadn't ever found anybody to do it. But now we finally run across a company that is capable and willing to do that for the right amount of money. So, any further discussion on that item? This is also being introduced tonight and will be on your April 4th agenda. We'd like to remind you that we will have a special work session this Wednesday starting at 4:30. Pack your dinner because we will be here for a while to discuss several items, so be prepared to stay. Any other business come before the council tonight? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.